live. This is going to be on everything you need to know about wheel cleaning. And the reason why I'm going live at the moment, guys, is because you get to see this in real time. No editing, completely uncut. Why not use the best function on YouTube, which is the live function? And so, let me just give you a little clean and make sure you're not too dirty, because we don't want to get any marks on here, so you looks too glary because the sun's out at the moment. Probably start that again. My apologies, my apologies. So, just for the edit, welcome back to the Jonny Shiell Detail Live, guys. And today's video is everything you need to know about wheel cleaning. Wheel cleaning is a real, I wouldn't say an art form. Car cleaning isn't an art form. It's a bit of a skill at the end of the day. And one of the things I get really fed up with is, as you can see behind me, is buckets full of tools. You just don't know where your arse from your elbow is sometimes. There's just tools everywhere. It's the most expensive part of it, is like having so many different tools. So this video today, we're going to be going through a few little myth bustings and a few little finds that I found recently with different products. Today's products we're going to be using, surprise, surprise, Garage Therapy Iron Oxide. This is a really, really cool product, and we'll go into more detail about this. We've got some really cool tools from Sponge Guru. So we've got the two sizes. We've got the 9-inch, we've got the 18-inch. Ladies, calm yourself down, please. Don't get too excited. We've got one of these little tools, which we're developing at Sponge Guru right now, which is going to be pretty, really cool. And I'm going to go into details on why these horrible transporter wheels, which are so fiddly to work on, why this is going to be beneficial. We've also got its first outing on the channel, which is the IK Pro Foamer E. And if you stay tuned, you're going to get my real thoughts on this, because as much as I love it, there's a major problem with this, so that's coming up later on in the video. We've also got a little Rag Company wash sponge, got a Detail Factory tyre brush, and one of the reasons why we shouldn't be using these on these wheels, that's all coming up in today's episode. So let's get stuck into it. And don't forget the faithful wheel woolly, the beautiful wheel woolly, which, if you know about wheel woolies, they're made by Braun Automotive and people put their logos on it, which is really interesting. So I've been really guilty in the past, and we're going to spray this on at the same time we're talking. I've been really guilty in the past of having a go at people overusing Garage Therapy Iron Oxide, because it's such a strong product. And at the moment, when it's been released in America, I'm getting to see so many people just going bananas with this all over the wheels. And I'm like, such a waste of product. But to my downfall, I've not realised that when they've been using it at that kind of dilution ratio and that strength, I've had issues with these wheels trying to get the brake dust off them. And so, giving you a bit more feedback about these wheels, this customer's in for my highest detail package. So these wheels and the arches have all been ceramic coated, so they're nice and clean, nice and fresh, nice and protected. And so while they're nice and protected, using something like a nice Garage Therapy wheel shampoo, which is in here, I don't want to degrade that protection too quickly, and I don't want to be degrading it by heavily hammering the wheels with nuclear bombs and all sorts of stuff and heavy hitting brushes. And so while brushes and sponges have become really taboo in this world when it comes to using them on cars, hopefully today you're going to see one of the benefit sides of it. And so let's spray this on. Now, it is sunny today, and so one of the things you need to worry about in the sunshine is, if you've done a little drive in a car or in a van, whatever you're using, is make sure the wheels are either cool to the touch, or you can give them a little bit of a pre-rinse. So one of the big, really cool things about Garage Therapy Iron Oxide is that it does contain Decon shampoo. If you know anything about Decon shampoo, you know how strong it is and how powerful it is. So because Garage Therapy don't have a dedicated wheel cleaner, this can double up as a really good wheel cleaner. So I would say, in order of strength, you've got Garage Therapy wheel shampoo, you've then got, you can use Decon shampoo to clean the wheels and the tyres, and basically every area of the vehicle with Decon shampoo. And also then you can go into iron oxide. And so while I'm laying this on, making sure I get it on all areas, one of the things I'm really petrified about when I'm doing this is actually marring and scratching these gloss black finish wheels, because if anyone knows what gloss blacks like to play with, it's a real pain in the bum and it's real difficult. And like, I want to treat these wheels as equal to the rest of the body. I like to make sure my pre-wash is really good. But one of the biggest problems you've got with that is when you're running a business, the biggest issues you've got is that's costing you time. And so time costs money equals efficiency problems. And so you need to become more efficient. So recently what I've been using on these products has been using an alkaline wheel cleaner, which obviously at different strengths is going to degrade protection. So you can understand I'm setting the scene now for different scenarios and how this sort of operates. So the second problem we've got is the wheel bucket. And you can see already the amount of tools we've got in here to do stuff with. Easy detail brushes, the wheel brushes, sponges, tyre cleaning brushes, another brush, another wheel woolly, another little area, another little one, another tyre brush. It's just never ending stuff. And so last year, if you haven't checked out one of my lives, I started playing with these products, and I actually got these products. I got this specific product. And if you can see the length of that, the 18-inch one, I got this specific product from Sponge Guru, which at the time was called Hygan, which is the mother company, and now they're called Sponge Guru. And so I needed this tool, the length of it, to get into behind the aero on a Lotus Electra, which had such big aero on it that I was getting into these areas, and it was getting me annoyed that I couldn't get the dirt out of these areas. So I decided to buy these. Because they were called wheel sponges, I decided halfway through one of my videos to try it out. I was thinking, okay, I was doing a comparison video with easy detail brushes and the wheel woolies and these ones off Temu and all sorts of things. And I sort of chucked them in the mix and I was bloody surprised, and so on and so forth. What's happened now is that these products have become a part of my arsenal, and now they've become a real hot craze in the UK right now, where a lot of detailers, a lot of the professional high-end detailers are now swapping to sponges. And so that's coming up in a later video with Hygan sponges and the story about that, but I'll just give you a little bit of a backstory. So while that's dripping now, let's get you in so you can have a look at this and see how dirty this is and how much bleeding we got in here. Look at that. This is absolutely dripping. And so it's time for the absolute awesomeness that is the IK foamer. And so if you haven't used the IK foamer yet, what we've got in here is we've got literally 20 ml of Garage Therapy wheel shampoo. All we have to do is hold down the button, the green light pops on, as you can see, and just tap it once, and off we go. I am an absolute crazy man for tools. I love a tool. And this is the issue. Watch. Still going. Still going. Still going. And there you go. It won't turn off. So I have to override it. And so this is the second one, and unfortunately, all these have been recalled in Shiny. They've been sent back to Portugal to be tested because of it. And so I had to keep this one because I wanted to finish the video. But that's a bit of a spoiler alert on the LK foamer. There's a video coming up very, very soon about that, and we're going to be going into more detail about it. So, as you can see, this is doing its work now. And if you love that sort of shot, that is the raspberry pomani shot. And so, next process, or the start of this process when it comes to wheel cleaning, is getting into the arches. And look at this. This is my original one from last year. And so what I'll use for my wheel cleaner today, get over there for you guys, pop that to the side. How I use this is I just use my wheel bucket. As you can see, the water's not too dirty. I use the wheel bucket just as a dip and a squeeze, just to wring things out. like I said, I'm not trying to make this bucket too dirty, and that is after 2 wheels, which is pretty goddamn good. So this is our pre-wash. You can see that's working nicely. Look at that colour, look at that richness. Iron oxide is it's an absolute beast. And so with this wheel sponge, what we're going to do, we've got 10 mils of shampoo in the bucket. Let's just get that on there, and we're just going to go in and do the arches. And so I've repurposed the old worn out one, so you can get into all these areas. And this is where this lightning bulb moment happened with the wheel sponges. And that was what was fantastic about these wheel sponges that you can't get with other wheel sponges. It's feedback. What do I mean by feedback? Dirt. Yellow sponges, when they get dirty, you can see the dirt on them. And so I don't know about you, but in so many years of detailing, you do wheels, you dry them off, and all of a sudden you see a bit of dirt you missed. These are such a good like cross checker, like a good device to check whether you've cleaned or not. They're absolutely phenomenal. You're going to see that in a minute in the later on of the video with the process that I use to clean the wheels. So if you're a beginner, this is the video for you. And so while these wheels have been taken off, they've been refurbed and ceramic coated with Absolute Valentin's ballistic, you're going to see the absolute amazing water behaviour with it. And there you go. Arches looking really fresh. Dunk, squeeze, ready to go back in the bucket. Perfect. So I think we're now ready to, while we're here, while this is dwelling, we've got a little bit of we're in a safe position now to just go in and do the tyres. You can see, because it's got decon shampoo in it, you can see how much bleeding and how much dirt is coming off those tyres already. And so these have been dressed every time they've been washed. This comes in every fortnight for a wash. And so they've been dressed with tyre serum from Gary Therapy. Look at that, absolute beautiful remove of dirt there. Fantastic. And so getting all these little jobs done while the wheels are dwelling is absolutely perfect. We give that a little rinse, and stick that back in the bucket. And so I've got 2 more tools for you to play with today. That's going to be amazing. We've got the Tornador foamer versus the IK foamer sprayer. That's coming up later on in the video. So there's a big difference between the Tornador and the foamer. A, you don't have to charge the foamer, it's running off compressed air. And B, the dilution ratios are much weaker, much easier. For that 1 litre, I only need to use 5 ml of product. So compared to 20 ml in the IK foamer, so that's nearly double. Save you so much money. But you check out the bead on this. Watch this when it's doing its thing. Absolutely epic. So let's give this a little rinse off. If you've got any questions, feel free. Shout away. I'm here. You can ask me anything you like. I'm constantly keeping my eye on the chat. You can already see that already looks 10 times better. It looks almost like a touchless wash. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at that already, fantastic. So this is where we're going to show you now the IK foamer. And so the 2 differences. We've got the IKE foamer and we've got the Tornador Foam R, which is the RS. And so look, just to give you proof, there's 5 ml in there. I'm just going to give that a little swish around, pop that in. I always like to mix up my products before I start. 5 ml to 1,000 litres. Simple. It's a big difference. And so because this is generating air all the time, This retails at £120. And so this retails at £90. But so far that's been let me down a lot faster. But there is a difference in this, that you can actually change the tips on this and put a multi-sprayer on it so it can have multiple uses. So there is pluses and minuses, but that's all coming up in the video and coming out very, very soon. On here, you've got a little jack actuator, which turns the foam off, turns it less, turns it more. And so we're going to literally gake, and I'm going to show you how this dissipates onto the alloy wheel. So we're literally now, we'll spray this on, a little bit more iron oxide. See, the Americans are teaching me a thing or two. There we go. And so far, I've used around 250 mils. So it is quite an expensive process to do this. So let's lay on the foam. I think you get the picture. That is an absolute Mr. Whippy. Look at the thickness of that foam. There's a big difference between that and the IK foam, all right? It's tighter. There we go. So, now that's all lined up, ready for action. What we're going to use first, we're going to try and minimise the amount of tools we got, because wheel cleaners get really, really complicated. So, we can use the IK foam for this. So instead of having too much foam in the bucket, I can use these tools to line up. And so this little triangle one, this is the grill. This fits into these little areas perfectly. And if you're aware of these wheels, there's a lot of nooks and crannies. A lot of nooks and crannies. If you haven't liked on the video yet, please give this video a little like if you're enjoying the content. Drop a little subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content. We are going to be doing this all summer. Live, large and in charge. No editing, just real, honest, straight up, down the camera, down the barrel content. There will be more produced content coming out, but at the moment, we're going to build a community base so you guys can join in. As you can see already, dunk in the bucket. Little dunk. There we go. Just meticulously walking around. The great thing about the triangular sponge is it gets into all these little areas. It fits into all these nooks and crannies. What do you think is going to be safer? One of these? Or one of these? Or especially if you lose the tip on this. And I'm going to show you in a video coming up very, very soon how to change the tips on these to make them back as new. And also, so I like to do the faces first. It's the area that's obviously outside the sunlight. So working in this area here, this is going to dry out first. So it's really important for me to work on the faces. Like I said, if any product starts to dry out, I can mix it up, get into those little areas. And obviously with these wheels, what's the biggest problem is they've got these little ridges which carry the dirt and which hide the dirt. So having one of these tools instead of a brush, what you'll find if you're going to use a brush is getting into these little areas. Not only are you going to start stabbing the finish on the wheels, but the brush, it sprays out, all right? It's great for tyres, but on these areas, not particularly perfect. So I think these little tools, this is also minimizing minimizing the amount of tools you need in your wheel bucket, which is fantastic. Getting into all these little areas. Little rinse, little dunk, and look how well that cleans up. Cleans up absolutely perfect. What a tool. So cheap as well. Dunk the water, a little bit of lubrication, Now we're going to go in and do the faces, the barrels. Just like brushing your teeth, working side to side. You've got a nice little plastic housing on this for the wheel brush, which means the stick is going to be very, very safe. It comes into contact with the wheels. Try and work as far as you can away into the little crevices. Brilliant. Work your way round systematically all the way round. Lucky enough for me, these brake discs are really, really narrow, so we don't have any problems getting in there. But if you do have any problems, then guess what? We've got the hammerhead. Perfect little nails. No, you're not getting much for these wheel woolies, so we're just having to go by technique and hopefully just going around again, making sure that all these wheels are perfect. But I'm going to show you in a second, using the sponge guru sponges, exactly how cool it is to get feedback. There we go. Dunk. Rinse. Perfect. Always working through. And just finishing off now, getting behind the wheels. Like I said, just look at these like teeth, all the cavities, all the sweets you've been eating, all the areas. There's grease, dirt, petrol, all the salts of the road, everything's to these wheels. These are the things that make the most contact with the floor. So these are the areas that you're going to get more grit, the ability to ruin your finishes, scratch finishes. We can get into all these areas, all these little nooks and crannies. Absolutely brilliant. All these areas, there we go. Fantastic. And look at that. Look at the cleanability. No dirt, no scrubbing. That's what the pre-wash done for us. Let's get rid of all that out there, keeping our stuff nice and clean. The detailer's code, right? Keeping things nice and clean, nice and tight, nice and tidy. Right then, so we're now going to move into this little tool. It's going to find out for us, so we can now give this a little wiggle, a little massage on the barrels. And what's going to happen now is it's going to tell us everything we need to know about this wheel clean. You start to see, look, a little bit of dirt in there. Not much, nothing much, but just a little bit in there. Look how quick. Like I said, we've got ceramic coated wheels, which when anyone's a customer, I highly recommend having their wheels refurbed, having that ceramic coating done, because wheels are honestly one of the things that set every part of the car off. The first thing you see when you drive down the road is a lovely set of wheels. Alloy wheels really are the shoes of the vehicle that actually, what we can turn heads as well. Look at that. Look at that. That is telling me everything I need to know, that I've done an absolutely amazing job. All this sets you up. And like I said, if you wanted to use it as one tool, if you can't afford to buy all the tools, split into all these areas. So to be honest with you, you could actually do this whole detail with this one brush if you wanted to. Look, getting into all these areas. Absolutely outstanding. Look, even into these little gaps here. I'm learning while I'm on the live. That pre-wash, by the way, has been phenomenal. How long that garage for every wheel shampoo lasts for. Look how long the suds are lasting for. It's fantastic. I think, guys, we are there. Look. And cleans up really, really well. All the prices and everything's going to be in the description. The last little touch, the lug nuts. This is now going to give you that professional finish. And stick around because we're going to show you the warp behaviour on these wheels from Absolute Valentin's Ballistic. So let's give this a damn good rinse so you get to enjoy the fruits of a ceramic coating. Look at that behaviour. Absolutely absolutely fantastic. And there you go, guys. Another live video from Jonny Shiell Detailing. A lot to pack in there, lots to watch. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Lots more videos to watch on the live. Hit the subscribe button. I go live in the evenings when I'm doing my washes. We'll be going through all sorts of videos, how to move bird poo, how to clean the arm, best pre-wash, how to use all the products we're using, watching and subscribing and viewing and also supporting. I'll see you guys in the next video.